All right, and after both of us were crawling around on the floor looking for the dice that the boy knocked out of the tray,
Here we are.
we can start.
Yay!
If we're ready.
I'm as ready as I'm going to be. It's been a week. It's been great.
Yeah. I feel like we say that a lot, and I feel like we need to stop saying
We
that.
probably
We need to
should.
stop saying how busy we are and how tired we are and how unprepared we are. Because that's like people
It is like kind of
deprecating. It's self-deprecating, and also like performers know not to apologize for things.
That's a problem in my life. I apologize
Yeah.
for everything. I'm trying to learn.
Are you going to apologize for that?
I'm trying really hard not to. I will not apologize any longer for that.
But yeah, don't apologize for a bad performance, because chances are people don't realize it was a bad performance until you apologize for it, and then they think back and are like,
Oh, yeah, that was
right, they
terrible.
did mess up.
Okay.
So yeah, no more apologizing for being tired
Okay.
or for the cat running across my keyboard and doing something. Well,
Cool,
didn't mess
cool.
with Audacity though, so we're good.
That's the important thing.
What are you doing?
He's stalking the other cats.
Okay.
Heaven forbid they try to live a life.
Okay. Oh, so what's going on?
Well,
I feel okay.
Say-
Did just say to not.
I can't tell you because we've been busy and I'm tired.
Oh man. So speaking of being busy and tired, when it came down to both of us doing our research in time to record this weekend, and we're recording now at the absolute last minute that we can possibly record and still give me time to edit and crank out the episode, because when we actually sat down to do our research, neither of us could focus, even though we both drew topics that we're excited
I
about.
know. Yeah, I want to do mine, but every time I looked at it, I was like, I
know.
can't.
I could not focus. I had all the links.
Yeah.
Every time I read any of the articles that I had linked, my brain would just go a million different directions. And that is the nature of ADHD. And it is because of that we're trying something new.
We are introducing the concept of a wild magic surge, where because our brains don't cooperate with us, we kind of went and said, what do you want to focus on, brain? What is it?
Yeah.
What do you want to focus
brain,
on?
Where would you like to hyperfocus right now?
So we have two random things that our brains chose
that are not the topics we drew last week.
and are not, mine is not even, I don't know if yours was on the list. Mine was not on the list.
No, mine was
cool.
not.
So in true ADHD fashion, we have hyper-focused on different things, and we're going to do that.
And we're going to save the topics we actually drew for
Hopefully next week.
Or another time. We're still going to draw cards today, and that'll give us,
some options.
We'll be topics ahead or whatever. Topics ahead. That sounds like a weird saying.
I do want to say, like, we have a new office space.
We do.
See,
we talked about
ADHD.
this. We talked about this in our last episode, that we were excited that we did adult things and bought carpet and desks, and now we have them set up.
We have desks. We're not like sitting basically on top of each other in a very small space trying to record.
We both have L-shaped desks, and we put one side of the L like back to back with each other, so it's like we have space.
We were on a tiny little like 2x3 table.
Yeah.
And we had our dice, our cards, our computer, everything on this tiny little table. And now we have like a 3x5 or more, maybe 4x6 size table that we can have stuff on between us. So it's kind of, it's a space. And like everything can be there and we're not crowded.
Yeah.
You're so far away though. You're way over there.
I'm cool with that.
It's just, it's a change.
I'm not like a physically affectionate person, so it's fine with me.
I get it. I mean, I'm not trying to be, but I'm just like, it's weird because all the time in this office, we've been right next to each other. I know, we've been like
right, yeah. So you know what was weird though? Because we've had these desks set up since Tuesday, when we did tea time yesterday, we were sitting next to each other again. Because even our D&D setups, we've each been on our tablets on Zoom. And so we're able to stay in our own space and still be on camera. But during tea time, we're like, we should just sit together because we're going live.
Because we do that via YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
It felt like I was really close to you the whole time.
I was like, get away.
No.
You're crowding me. I feel cramped
my
again.
chair like I want to because I keep hitting yours.
I know. Which is how we spent the past year.
I know.
But suddenly, like, it just takes a few days and we're like, get out of my space.
So anyway, that's the new thing this week. But back to, we never actually said what we're calling this because we know it's going to happen again.
Wild Magic Surge.
You never said that.
Yeah, I did. I said we're introducing the Wild Magic Surge.
Oh, you just said because our brains wouldn't hyperfocus.
So we introduced the Wild Magic Surge.
Okay. I did not hear you say it the first time, but that's okay. I'm going to hear you the second and third and fourth time I listen to it.
Yeah. When you do the edit, you'll be like, oh, yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
just was not paying attention, I guess.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's all right.
Yeah, we're calling it a Wild Magic Surge because...
weird things happen sometimes.
Yeah. With our brains. It happens more often than you think.
We'd like to admit.
So, like, I guess for non-D&D players... Stop. For non-D&D players, Wild Magic Surge is something that there is a particular class that your character can play in D&D called a sorcerer, and an even more particular subclass called a Wild Magic Sorcerer. And when you choose this class, every time your sorcerer casts a spell, you have to roll a dice, and that sort of determines whether or not this weird, random, wacky, wild magic surge will happen.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad. I like playing wild magic sorcerers. That was actually like the second or third character I ever made was a mermaid with wild magic.
It's you.
It's me. And so, yeah, we thought that term fit for when we're trying to focus on something. We get this sudden weird, wild urge to research something entirely different and entirely random. So, yeah, we thought it was a good little analogy.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a wild magic surge.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I actually did my notes pretty much between last night and this morning.
Same. Yeah.
After struggling for a week.
Yeah. I found all the links and stuff that I needed last night. And then right before I went to bed, I finalized the links because I had like a billion of them. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, weeding them out. And then right before I went to bed, I was like, okay, these are the links I'm going to draw from. And so today was when I actually compiled notes.
I did links and like read articles on mine.
Uh-huh.
A lot of stuff. Again, I could spend hours talking about this because it's. I'll explain it. I'll explain it when we get into it. But
yeah, this is just a overview of what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's roll for it.
Okay.
Before we start,
I wanted
being like, well, my topic, da 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 da, and then having to not actually say anything about it.
I do want to make a correction to last week's.
Oh yeah.
My topic on D&D. We went through the timeline and I said that the D20 system was introduced in the 2000s. And I said that before that, the players really only used D6s or some of the other dice. I was corrected on this by someone who used to play second edition. Thanks, Jim, for giving me that little, hey, pay attention here. So the D20 was used in all editions of the game from the very beginning, but it was not used as extensively. The percentile dice were used more to see like kind of how well you did the thing.
Yeah. So Jim said you pretty much always rolled to hit. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I brought up on the last episode was like, it was weird that the D20 wasn't used for that, but it actually was. It was all the other like skills and ability checks and things that were used. Like
they weren't
other
really
dice
a part
used.
Of the game until third edition.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to try to do something, you just kind of said that and then you rolled the percentile. Like if you wanted to pick a lock. Now, if you want to pick a lock in D&D, you roll a sleight of hand.
And add a modifier.
Yeah, you add a modifier.
Specific modifier or skill number.
So it was just kind of a percentile. Like you had the percentage of it, whether you succeeded or not.
Yeah.
And how well you succeeded. We have 2 cats on our desk now that are glaring at each other.
Well, this boy cannot handle when anybody else wants to watch his shows. He gets right in front of the screen. So right now, between us, because our desk is so big, we have Hiddle's tablet open to just like a random bird video.
It's YouTube TV for cats.
Yeah, like and the little white boy, Zirin, he loves watching it.
It's adorable.
The problem is he hoards the screen for
Literally
himself.
will fall asleep against the screen so that none of the other cats can watch it.
Yeah. And so what happened just now was Zirin wasn't even on the desk. He wasn't even like in the general area, and Stray came up and was trying to watch the screen. She wasn't even right in front of it. But Zirin came shooting across my desk, flung some papers to the ground, and parked himself right in front of the screen and just like shooed Stray away. And this has been happening all weekend because we've had this set up all weekend. He's such a little dork.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, let's roll.
Let's roll.
I can't see what it is.
A 6.
Six.
Oh, man.
That's a low number.
Oh,
Watch
I
you
never
roll
wanted
a
a
one.
1 so badly. I got a 2.
Okay, the balance has been restored, apparently.
You know we can't let things get too out of whack.
That would have been 3 episodes in a row that you went first.
Was it 3?
Oh, no.
No.
It was just, so you went first last week, and then 2 weeks before that. What was before Trota?
Are you a descendant of America's emancipated slaves, otherwise known as the Freedmen, Foundational Black Americans? Then Freedmen's Affairs Radio is your home for real talk, where history, culture, politics, and economics collide to shape our future. Every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, we bring unfiltered commentary and deep insight into the Black American experience. Past, present, and future. Come join the conversation. Tap in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. This is Freedmen's Affairs Radio, where the lineage speaks.
Trota was the zombie ants? No,
Did I go
Glass
first then?
Delusion. Yeah, you went first.
Glass Delusion and the Zombie Ants.
Yeah.
Those are out of order. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It
I can
seems like
consult
there
the
was
spreadsheet that's somewhere.
It seems like there was a recent time when you went first. When we reorganize that, we need to put
Yeah, who went
Who
first so
went
we can
first
just
on the
kind of
top.
glance up at it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, here we go. So when we decided this whole wild magic surge thing, the first sort of topic that came to my mind was baking, because I really miss baking, and I won't apologize for this, but I have not had time to bake.
I miss you baking.
Yeah. But like I really miss it, and I used to have more time to do it, but I haven't in a bit. And so I was like, okay, what aspect of baking could I talk about for this? So I was like, we recently went to go meet Dylan Hollis at a book signing and discussion. And so I was like, okay, I could maybe talk about some vintage recipes. But then I was like, I should just do the history of baking and a little timeline of baking. Obviously,
fun.
I'm definitely not including everything. But
How far back are you going?
how far back am I going? The beginning of time.
Awesome. I'm here for this. I'm settling in. I've got my coffee. I've got my little blankie. Let's go.
It's actually the Neolithic period that I'm going back to, because that's
Oh, wow.
when,
You are seriously going back to the...
Yeah.
Okay, deep dive. Awesome.
Yeah. That's when agriculture came around.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Neolithic period, the earliest known form of baking occurred when humans took wild grass and grains and soaked them in water and mashed the mixture into like a broth-like paste. And that paste was then cooked by pouring it onto a flat, hot rock, resulting in a bread-like substance. So,
Pancakes.
Yes.
Yes.
But this was actually before they learned how to use fire.
Oh,
so they would just heat up the rock in the sun.
So this started in Arizona. Got it.
Probably, yeah. Before car windshields to bake our cookies, we were using just the rocks.
The rocks. Wow. That's fascinating. Okay, before fire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that was a thing.
And I want to actually see like the archaeology and anthropology studies that have discovered that, because how do you know?
I think we have to do a podcast episode on the history of fire.
Fire. All right. So when humans mastered fire, they roasted the paste on hot embers, making bread. Well, sorry, that made bread making more convenient as it could be done whenever fire was created. At that time, stone was used as a tool for all practical purposes. It was used for digging the ground for agriculture work, for cutting down the crops, and then for grinding the grain to produce rough bread flour. So at that point, they started making more flour instead of just soaking things and grinding that up into a paste. The flour was then mixed with water and shaped into the form of a round flat cake, which was then cooked on a large flat stone over a fire. So even now we have versions of like unleavened flatbreads, like pita and naan bread and tortillas. And that was sort of the style then.
Oh yeah, it was when
The style,
you'll get into it probably, but when was yeast?
Egyptians.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay!
Around 2600 BCE, the Egyptians had discovered the process of fermentation, probably by accident. They found that dough, when left out, would naturally ferment and rise thanks to the wild yeasts in the environment. This process created the first leavened bread, which was not only more palatable, but also easier to digest. And right now, this is how we make sourdough. You have to do a sourdough starter that you feed and develop that yeast. They found out that you can use a bit of yesterday's dough to make today's bread.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart.
Yeah.
The Egyptians were very smart.
They were. They were also credited for making the first enclosed ovens, but I did find another source that said that they uncovered a 6,500-year-old oven in eastern Croatia. So again, Neolithic period. And the little snippet I found said that the oven provided the residents with cooked food, hot water, and central heating around the clock. And it was an important discovery because at that time, homes were being built with straw roofs. So having an open fire indoors was not
Dangerous.
possible.
Yeah.
So when they made these, or they discovered these enclosed ovens, they pretty much were able to figure out how they were heating these homes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So as a side note, back to Egypt, there is an ancient Egyptian recipe that was found on the walls of the tomb of Rekhmire, Rekhmire, which might be an Anglo pronunciation of it.
Probably.
He was the vizier of the pharaohs Tutmos III and Amenhotep II. The recipe is for tiger nut cake, and we're actually incorporating a version of these cakes into our book, The Scarab Whispers.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I found 2 different versions of this recipe online. One of them is as close a replication to the original recipe and method as Max Miller over at Tasting History can get.
Yeah. I love tasting history.
Yeah. He's got some awesome stuff. The other version of the recipe I found has been adapted with more modern ingredients and modern methods, kind of easier for us to do in our modern kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
I will be talking about both of those recipes in our And Another Thing after chat.
Sweet.
After this for our patrons.
Let me ask you, I'm remembering a bread that was made like in a cone shape. Is that what this is?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So this was, I mentioned that it was found on the walls of a tomb. It wasn't like a recipe as we would think of it today with like measurements, like a list of ingredients and their measurements, and then the method. It was more of like, it was mostly just the method. And through research and, just
Knowing what was available.
Knowing what was available at the time, we were able to historians were able to figure out the likely ingredients used. And then based on the petroglyph. Nope. The glyphs.
Hieroglyphs.
Yeah. The hieroglyphs on the wall, they were able to figure out the method and what they looked like because they are actually depicted in that cone shape
That is so cool.
in hieroglyphs. Yeah.
I mean, one day I need to put Egypt on our podcast list because
I think we have a couple things related to Egypt,
related
but
things,
very
but
specific things.
yeah, we could probably do an entire podcast just on Egypt.
I mean, we could make that a recurring card.
Yeah, maybe, because
or we
I
can
think
have a
it's
little mini podcast. I know a lot
Yeah.
of podcasters do that.
little mini side podcast. But
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by Egyptology since I was a kid. So
Yeah.
it's
Same.
I love I can rabbit hole. Let's not rabbit hole. Focus. We're going to pull this focus back.
Okay. Anyway,
Back to food.
if you want to learn about those two, like the two different versions of the recipes, become a patron.
Yeah. Patreon.com.
Smash that like button. Okay. Moving on. As civilization advanced, so did baking techniques. And the ancient Greeks and Romans inherited and refined Egyptian baking methods. And by 600 BC, they had sort of taken the enclosed bread ovens and they were being built all over the place. They look more like our current pizza ovens.
Brick oven.
Brick
pizza.
ovens, yeah. For some reason, I could not think of the word brick. Or
I
just
want
like
pizza.
stone, mud ovens. I really want pizza too. In Greece, bread became a staple food and bakers were respected members of society. The Greeks introduced a variety of bread types, including honey-sweetened cakes and savory pastries filled with cheese and meat. And again, you can find a lot of these recipes on tastinghistory.com. Max Miller has a whole section of ancient recipes that he has tried to replicate and recreate in his kitchen.
They're beautiful when they show up in my
really
news
cool.
feed, and they're just beautiful, and I'm like, I want to eat
There
that.
are so many that I want to try. The Romans further elevated baking into an art form. Beginning around 300 BC, Rome had its own baker's guild known as the Collegium Pistorum, signifying the importance of the profession. The pastry cook became an occupation for Romans, known as the pastellarium. So not only are they just doing bread for regular sustenance, now we're seeing the art form that the pastry can take.
Yay! That's it. Isn't there like some random story about like someone who like did a clay tablet of complaining about someone's bread?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I might be mixing things up, but I just remember like reading there was someone complaining about the quality of the bread in a clay tablet.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
It's
Carry on.
possible. It was I lost my place. All right, so yeah, it was the pastellarium. The pastry cook was a respected profession because pastries were considered decadent, and Romans loved festivity and celebration. Pastries were often cooked, especially for large banquets, and any pastry cook who could invent new types of tasty treats was highly prized. So we're seeing a lot of innovations here because, Romans love to celebrate everything. And so they're like, let's have this new thing, this new treat that we can make.
Today seems like a good day for a party.
Yeah. Let's name it.
Let's
name today.
Pick a god, any god.
Yeah. So around 1 AD, there were more than 300 pastry chefs in Rome. And Cato wrote about how they created all sorts of diverse foods and flourished professionally and socially because of their creations. Cato talks about all kinds of breads, including, I've got a list here with words that I probably won't be able to pronounce. Libum, Libum, which is cakes made with flour and honey, often sacrificed to gods.
Mm-hmm.
We have the unfortunately named placenta,
Okay.
which is groats and cress. And groats are whole grains, but they're only roasted enough to remove the skin of the outside. So they're softened, but like still nutty. So we're starting to see like texture and stuff in it. And I think placenta is more of a dessert, or at least was considered a dessert back then.
Okay.
Cress is just a type of grass, right?
I think so.
So yeah, placenta.
Hmm.
We have spira or spira, which is modern day flour pretzels.
Pretzels, yay!
Yeah. We have scibolata. It's Scibilata. And those are torts.
Oh,
So like sort of like a sort of flatter, shallow cake. Civilum, which is a sweet cake, and globus apherica, which are fritters.
I love fritters.
Yeah. So a lot of these could be seen at banquets and dining halls with a lot of different variations, different ingredients, varied patterns, made to look pretty.
Aw.
Yeah.
Can we send Paul Hollywood back through time?
Sure.
And see how long he would last judging the Romans on their pastries?
I think that he would have a high level of respect for any baker in this time because they are the innovators that sort of established pastry today. So I think Paul Hollywood would not be judging them. He'd be like, you judge me. Let me see.
Teach me.
Yeah, here's what I can do. What do you think?
I love Paul Hollywood. I will judge his s'mores.
I forget what he did with s'mores.
He made them like a gourmet, and he complained about the gooey mess, and I'm like, that is the point of s'mores, my dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, gooey mess is the point of s'mores.
Yeah.
But they were beautiful, but
yeah, I'm
come
sure
on.
they were. Okay.
Campfire,
Yeah.
not ovens. Anyway.
All right. So with the fall of the Roman Empire, much of Europe's sophisticated baking knowledge was preserved by monasteries. Monks became the bread bakers, but not only for sustenance, but also as a form of charity. They would make bread, give it away. During the medieval period, bread remained a fundamental part of the diet, and local bakeries began to emerge in towns and cities. So now it's becoming even more of a profession, a widespread profession. These bakeries were regulated by guilds that set standards for quality and price. The guild system had master bakers that instructed apprentices and were assisted by journeymen. And an apprenticeship with a master baker could last as long as 7 years.
Oh, wow.
At this time. A fraternity of bakers existed in London as early as 1155, and the Worshipful Company of Bakers was formed by charters dated 1486, 1569, and 1685. And I have a little bit more about the Worshipful Company of Bakers. This was a guild.
Okay.
Started in medieval times in London. The guild received the power to enforce regulations for baking, known as the Assize of Bread and Ale. So the Assize of Bread and Ale was sort of a list of regulations that all bakeries and bakers had to abide by. The violations included selling short weight bread and the addition of sand instead of flour.
Oh, rude.
I know. But yeah, bakers would try to save money in any way possible. And like before these regulations were in place, you never really knew what ingredients you would find in your bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go regulations.
So the bread Assize, Assize.
I've heard it.
Have you heard that word before?
I have heard that word.
Never.
I have not heard it in relation to bread, but it is kind of a like a ruling, like a regulatory word.
Okay.
Like I've heard of like the Assizes of Italy or the Assizes of Italy. There's like
Assizes.
No, not Assizes, not the location. It was a regulatory group.
I have no idea.
Ow. I just hit my elbow.
You don't have to look it up. Let me continue. Okay. So the bread assize remained in force until 1863 when Parliament repealed it. And in the 14th century, the guild was divided into the Brown Bakers Guild and the White Bakers Guild in regards to the color of the bread. I had to specify
I got
that.
there. Yes, I got there.
So the brown bakers were bakers of nutritious breads, while the white bakers were bakers of the less nutritious but more popular bread. The white bakers were incorporated by a royal charter in 1509, while the brown bakers were incorporated in 1621, so quite a while later. The white and brown bakers united into one company in 1645, And the new company acquired a new charter in 1686 under which it still operates.
Whoa. I was not expecting that last sentence.
I know. I threw out a lot of old dates there, and I'm like, they're still around.
They're still around. That's crazy.
The Baker's Hall in Harp Lane, it's actually just called Baker's Hall. So Baker's Hall in Harp Lane, Billingsgate, has been the site of the Guild Hall and the Bakers since 1506.
Whoa.
It contains a courtroom where trade-related misdemeanors could be tried. So they had their own bread court.
That's insane. Taking you to bread court.
And I'm pretty sure they used a hard loaf of bread as a gavel.
If
that is not fact.
If they didn't, we're going back in time and making them.
Yes. Like, here's this piece of stale bread. You can't use it for anything else anymore. Use it as a gavel. Here you go. Because how hilarious would that be?
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. They all wore bread hats.
The cat with the bread face.
Yes, that's what they wore.
Yes. Okay.
Excuse me. All right. So back to the laws, the regulations that were enforced. So because of these rules that were so strict, and bakers were often accused of cheating customers with underweight loaves, this is sort of how we get the phrase baker's dozen.
Okay. Because
bakers would often add an extra loaf to every dozen to avoid punishment. So for every dozen sold, they were all weighed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were found to be underweight at all, that baker would be punished.
Okay.
And so he would often throw in a 13th loaf just so he wouldn't risk.
Here's an extra one. Just ignore the fact that they're stand in that fourth loaf.
Well,
no, but
it's because they were afraid of breaking the rules and being tried or fined or something.
Okay,
so they would just throw in an extra loaf just in case there's one loaf that is underweight or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that's where we get baker's dozen.
Cool.
Yeah. Ovens at the time were huge. They gave off a lot of heat. They were built in separate buildings. The bread was pushed inside the oven using one of those long handle paddle thingies that you see in like pizza ovens. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because the oven could never be completely cleaned after a fire, it was pretty much never cool because they were so huge.
Right.
Most of the bread cooked there ended up with the bottom being black. So in fancy houses, that part would be sliced off and given to the lowlier members of the house, and the top part would be fed to the rich people or upper crust, which is where that phrase comes from.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
You have the upper crust people, which were given this non-blackened part of the bread. Yeah.
That's cool. I would be really annoyed to just get a burnt piece of bread all the time.
I know, but
yeah,
you're just
I'm just
household servant, so
yeah,
you don't deserve properly baked bread.
You would not understand the refined palate
of the gentry.
And you're right, but okay.
All right. Moving on, the discovery of sugar changed everything. The arrival of the Europeans in the Americas in the mid-1400s led to the realization that sugar was easily grown in the Caribbean islands, and the availability of this sugar through trade, along with cocoa to the wider world, allowed for the development of finer baking.
Ooh.
The Renaissance brought a renewed interest in the arts and sciences, including culinary arts. Improved milling techniques produced finer flours, which in turn led to lighter, more refined baked goods. So just the invention or the industrial age led to a lot of
improvements.
Yes, a lot of improvements in the way we bake today. We see more industrialized ways to process the ingredients and make things in bulk. What's the mass produce?
Mass produce. Okay.
This also led to cooks setting up smaller bakeries and pastry shops
Instead of being just one big massive place where you had to be right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So like further innovations in technology and industrialization led to like average people being able to do this. So bakers would often make stuff at home and then pile all their goods in a cart and go around town and sell things from hand carts. So that developed into a sort of delivery system of baked goods to households and greatly increased demand as a result.
I would like a delivery system of baked goods to my household.
Yes, please. And then over in Paris, we see the first open air cafes of baked goods. They were being developed. And then baking became an established art through the entire world. It's in Paris. It's an art form. Around this time, we also see the rise of chemical leavening agents. Get it? Rise.
You're funny today.
I am
You're
funny
just on
today.
it.
So we've got chemical leavening agents such as baking soda and baking powder, and that revolutionized home baking.
Wait. When was this time frame?
Oh man, when was the last time I actually gave a date? Baking soda and baking powder have been around for quite a long time. I mean, baking powder has.
Because wasn't baking soda invented like the early 1900s or late 1800s?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we're talking about right now.
Okay, we've moved forward in time that far.
We
Okay.
have.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
19th century.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I skipped a whole bullet point here. Hang on. Sorry. Invention of the printing press in the 19th century allowed for recipes being developed and shared. And the modern cookbook was born. So that's when cooks were able to sort of set up bakeries and pastry shops and like smaller operations, and also more baking is done in the home.
Okay.
Totally skipped that entire bullet point. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So the printing press came along, and then people were like, here's my
recipes.
aunt's recipe.
Here's what I can do at home. Yeah.
Okay. And then someone invented baking soda, floof powder.
Floof powder. Okay, so I don't actually have that in my notes, but did you guys know that Vincent Price's grandfather invented baking soda? Invented it.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Anyway,
we could do a whole. We have Vincent Price's.
Vincent Price is on our list. Yeah, but I was amazed that his grandfather invented baking soda. It was crazy. Anyway, he's got some cookbooks.
He's got cookbooks, which is fascinating.
His grandfather has cookbooks, and Vincent Price has cookbooks.
Vincent Price used to have a cooking show.
He did,
which is like, and I can't ever think of him as anything but like a horror movie actor. You know,
I have his cookbook, and he actually does include some of his grandfather's recipes in there, and I should have pulled that out, but I did not. Anyway, so today, baking is like you see this kind of hybrid of using old traditions and current innovations. We have modern bakers that draw from centuries of knowledge while still embracing new technologies and ingredients. We have artisan bread making saw a huge resurgence, specifically in like 2020.
Everyone was making sourdough.
And like, I tried to jump on the sourdough train, but I'm too ADHD to feed.
I killed the sourdough too.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I never had kids, because I would be like, oh, I forgot to feed the kids today.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oops.
I have to set an alarm to feed my dog, so you know. And I often forget to feed the fish.
Sourdough is not going to get an alarm, so you know.
So but then we have like molecular gastronomy, which has introduced more avant-garde techniques, and like people are experimenting with flavor combinations, like with older recipes. So it's like this cool blend of ancient tradition and modern innovations that is just really, really cool. And
this just makes me think of time travel, and I'm like, okay, let's go get some of those Romans and let's bring them up here and be like, check out this focaccia. And they're gonna be like, ew.
How is it?
Ew. Gross.
What is that word you just said to me?
That's not a word. Okay, sorry.
Focaccia? No. Okay, so that's all I have for the history of baking, but I do want to include some of the science of baking just a little bit.
Okay, good, because I love the science of
just a tiny
baking.
little bit. I'm touching on it a little bit because it was on the baking Wikipedia page, and I was like, this is cool. During baking, there are 11 events that occur, some of which would not occur at room temperature. So they're like, it lists 11 things that have to happen in order for a baked good to be a baked good.
Okay.
So 1, fats melt. 2, gases form and expand. 3, microorganisms die. 4, sugar dissolves. 5, egg, milk, and gluten proteins coagulate. 6, starches gelatinize or solidify. 7, liquids evaporate. 8, caramelization and Maillard browning occur on crust, and we're going to talk about the Maillard browning. 9, enzymes are denatured. 10, changes occur to nutrients. And 11, pectin breaks down. So all of these 11 things happen in an oven in this dry heat environment.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Like some of the things could happen at room temperature, like fats melting. That could happen. But a lot of the stuff, the gases forming and expanding, the Maillard browning and caramelization, that wouldn't happen without baking. So the dry heat of baking changes the form of starches in the food and causes its outer surface to brown. The browning is caused by the caramelization of sugars and the Maillard reaction, which is a chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars to create melanoidins, the compounds that give browned food its distinctive flavor.
Okay.
Foods like seared steaks, fried dumplings, cookies, and other kinds of biscuits, breads, toasted marshmallows, falafel, tons of other foods undergo this reaction.
I'm hungry.
It's named after the French chemist Louis Camille Maillard, who first described it in 1912 while attempting to reproduce biological protein synthesis.
It's like fascinating.
Food science fascinates me.
It really does.
So Maillard browning occurs when sugar breaks down in the presence of proteins. Because foods contain many different types of sugars and proteins, Maillard browning contributes to the flavor of a wide range of foods, including nuts, roast beef, and baked bread. So it changes the flavor because of this browning, because of proteins and sugars and all that going on.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I mean, I would just think the browning on the top is like, oh, you want it to
Because
get
it's
a little
kind of
too
hotter
burnt,
up
a little
there.
hot, a little, crisp, but not too much so that it is actually burnt, but it's actually has a scientific name and process. I love that.
So like whenever kids complain that they don't like the crust, it's not because they think it's burnt. It might be because the actual flavor is different than the bread on the inside.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
You might not have a picky eater. You might just have someone with an extremely sensitive palate. So, which I guess would be a picky eater.
But also,
totally.
well, I mean, I would say a picky eater is just like, they won't eat a certain thing for just, I don't want that. But a palate, I mean, like if you're sensitive to flavors and tastes, like certain things are not going to be good, or they might be too intense to where it's not, I don't want to eat that because it's too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's interesting.
Okay. So many recipes call for an oven temperature high enough to ensure that Maillard reaction occurs. At higher temperatures, caramelization or the browning of sugars and subsequently pyrolysis, which is the final breakdown leading to burning and the development of acrid flavors, become more pronounced. So leave it in the oven too long, it will burn, which is also known as pyrolysis.
Is that pyrolysis with PY?
Pyro, pyro, Lysis.
Okay. That's cool.
It's cool
Again,
to
didn't
learn.
realize like that's a name. Like everything has a name. It's fascinating.
Just a glimpse into the science behind things burning. It's the final breakdown of the sugars and the proteins leading to burning and the development of acrid flavors.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So the baking process doesn't require any fat, but you do have to consider when baking the amount of fat in the recipe if it calls for it. Higher levels of fat, such as margarine, butter, lard, or vegetable shortening, will cause an item to spread out during the baking process. And like, I don't know if you've seen like the picture
All the cookies.
comparisons of the cookies, and like this is what happens when you add melted butter to a cookie, and that's the one that's the flattest and most spread out. It's because all of that fat already being melted. So not only have you sort of changed the, I want to say smoke point, but that's not it. That's how you describe like oils and things. But the already increased temperature, I guess, of the melted fat has caramelized. It caramelizes the sugar faster. Wow, that was the word I was looking for.
It was fun to watch that journey.
Yeah, I'm sure it was great. My brain has forgotten it already. So high levels of fat, meaning it means you're going to have something that spreads out and gets kind of thinner. So this is why we use lard in tortillas. And I mean, obviously there's also no leavening agent in flatbreads, but there tends to be more fats in flatbreads as well. All right, stale bread. With the passage of time, breads tend to harden and become stale. That's not primarily due to moisture being lost in the products, which I thought that's 100% what it was. It's just losing moisture.
Yeah.
So it's more a reorganization of the way in which the water and the starch are associated over time. So when I read that, I sort of just pictured like when you make a slurry of starch, you have to stir it and keep
Constantly,
stirring it.
yeah.
Otherwise, it'll settle again. So you get the starch on the bottom, the water up top. So I think that's ultimately what happens in bread is you get the starches, just the molecules over time just going lower and lower, and the water, you know, is less dense than the starch. So
Okay, it's kind of like a separation of the two.
Yeah.
That's fascinating because like in my head that wouldn't happen once it's baked. But I
there is
like you,
still
I just thought it
moisture
was
in
just
bread.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
this process is similar to recrystallization. And it's promoted by storage at cool temperatures like fridges or freezers. Don't put your bread in the fridge.
It will go stale faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of bread in our freezer, but it also would go moldy if we didn't do that because we wouldn't eat it. Who am I kicking? Oh,
Probably
it's
Kiersey.
It's Kiersey. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's it. That was just like a tiny little glimpse into the science of baking and a very loose timeline of the history of baking. I didn't even get into more of the modern innovations, like, you know, stand mixers and home ovens and things like that.
That's
like electric ovens
like
that
bread
we know.
makers, bread machines where you just kind of put everything in and let it do the work for you.
Yeah. I could talk more about this, but I've already been talking for like almost 50 minutes. So, or that we've been talking, I guess the episode's been going for almost 50 minutes. So yeah, that's it. I don't really have a fun way to end this, but I would love to do a little deep dive into the invention of like the specific little pastries and delicacies. I purposefully stayed away from that.
Yeah.
Because I could have been talking forever.
Like for me, thinking of like baking, I'm like, how did you come up with, like, how do you go from a bread, a dense grain bread to a light and fluffy angel food cake?
Yeah.
You know, like what was that process like?
Yeah.
Like, how many times did they go?
Who was the first one to whip egg whites
into a meringue? Yeah. Like I would never think that you could whip an egg so much that it would turn into something light and fluffy.
Yeah.
Especially if you added sugar with it, you know?
Yeah. On that note, like in the Neolithic period, who was the first one to decide to soak grasses and grind it up into a paste?
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, what would happen if I put it on this really, really hot rock?
Yeah. And like not every grass is going to do that.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain, you know, the grains. Like you can't just go out and grab a piece of turf and make a paste. I mean, you can. It's just not going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's so fascinating, that process, like thinking beyond what is known to invent a new thing. I mean, inventors have always fascinated me throughout all of them.
Like human innovation is wild.
Yeah.
People are so smart.
So smart. So smart.
And I'm not
and
sure how they
creative
do
and
it.
imaginative. Like you have to be intelligent. Like you have to be focused intelligence, like to say, I want to focus on this thing.
Yeah.
And then move forward like Nikola Tesla and
Yeah.
the coils and stuff.
And then
energy.
like the amount of trial and error it takes to actually like nail a desired effect.
Mm-hmm.
And like who invented macarons? That's such a delicate process and it goes wrong all the time. There are so many small things that can make it go wrong. I mean, just French pastry. Can we put that on the list? Because I want to do a deep dive into that.
Okay,
That would be fascinating.
Definitely, because I love macarons and I think you should make some more.
I know, I want to.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
My Instagram post
Again,
did the
I
little
miss
memory
baking.
thing, and I was like, "Oh, look at the little macarons!
Aw.
They were so good."
Yeah, I do miss baking, and I would really like to be able to do that again. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We're manifesting
After
our
the
futures.
summer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I want you to bake. Like, can you go bake now? Because I want some bread
Okay.
or something. Jess is the baker and the cooker in the house.
I think I have all the stuff to make ale bread. I think we might be
Ooh.
out of self-rising flour, which is like
Oh,
necessary.
yeah. Well, darn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has turned into kind of a little art podcast of sorts because I think bread making is an art form. Oops.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. I hit my my computer went to sleep, and when I woke it up, I was on a completely different tab, and I was like, "Did I close it?" But I found it. Sorry. Panic at the disco. So, I feel like unless you've been under a rock since June 20th,
Well,
you are probably aware of the Netflix movie K-Pop Demon Hunters.
are you talking about K-pop Demon Hunters?
No, not really.
Let's go.
I am going to
What are
talk
we
about it
doing?
a little bit because it is insane how popular this movie has become. I'm going to give you just a quick thing. The soundtrack is the highest charting soundtrack of 2025.
It's fire.
It's
okay.
Ranked at number 3.
Yes.
For reference, the Wicked soundtrack peaked at number 2 in December of 2024 and is currently number 4.
Oh, didn't realize it was still so up there.
Yeah, it's still up there.
Okay.
K-Pop Demon Hunters is the highest charting soundtrack of an animated film since 2022 when Encanto spent 9 weeks at number 1.
Oh man,
Right? Like,
that's crazy.
Animated films,
Encanto was
yeah.
everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh man.
They gave the article I read on Billboard. I'll link it for anybody who wants to kind of get deep dive into that. The way they measure streams and stuff, they do so many units and stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't even get into there, but it has 77.42 million streams. Is the largest streaming week for a soundtrack since the Barbie soundtrack.
Oh, that's crazy.
I had no idea. Like, I mean,
Like
I know
Barbie
people
was
chart
a
this.
couple years ago, right?
2023, August 19th. So that was Barbie's third week on the charts.
Wow.
They had, it was K-Pop Demon Hunters was their second week on the charts.
Wow.
So
Okay.
the newest thing hasn't come out yet. It actually,
Yeah.
the newest post actually came out today.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Or yesterday, the 12th. Yeah. I was just like, wow, this thing, I mean, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and I am contributing to those numbers every day.
Oh, it's been on loop here for a while.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it and you're like, ugh, I don't like K-pop, go watch it anyway.
Yeah,
It's good. The
it's a
music
good
is good.
show.
It's a good show. It's got a good story.
Yeah.
It's got I like the ending. I like the kind of the underlying tones of the entire story. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's awesome. We won't spoil it.
Not gonna spoil it. Except I am going to talk
Are you
about
gonna
two.
spoil it?
I'm going to
Okay.
talk about two
I
characters.
said that, and I was like, "Wait, you haven't even really gotten started talking." Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to talk
what
about
are
two kind of side characters in the show, but
Okay.
only just because you mentioned them in our last episode very briefly, and then I was like, I want to know more about them.
Was it the last episode, or was it in during the
It might have been
and
in
another thing? I think it was because we were singing that. And
It
then I
was
just
in
randomly said
another
that.
thing. Okay, so you mentioned the tiger and the magpie. Derpy
Aw.
and Sussie
Sissy.
is what they're called in the show. I actually don't think they ever say the names in
They
the show,
never
but
do, no.
they're kind of these little side characters that
Oh
are
my-
very adorable.
I love them.
And I love them. So you mentioned it in our bonus content that they are based on Korean artwork.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know more about that.
Yay.
So I did a little dive, and we're going to talk a little bit about Korean artwork. I'm going to start with tigers in art, kind of over the ages,
Sweet.
because they have been kind of in art in all over the world.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about the Minhwa art of Korea, which is where this tiger and magpie icon, and what are they called? Symbols.
Symbolism?
Yeah. The tiger and the magpie symbolism kind of became popularized.
Okay.
And then at the end, I have a fun little project that I'm going to talk about and that we're going to possibly offer to our patrons.
Oh, okay.
So
Huh.
that's going to be fun. I've been emailing, so don't read the emails.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so tigers have been represented in art dating back as far as 5000 BC, during the Neolithic cultures of the that kind of came before China's like proper China history.
Yeah.
The tiger, dragon, phoenix, and turtle are extremely common in Chinese art, even kind of outside of their mythological and astrological context. And they've just kind of been there all through the ages. Tigers are also represented in European art, African art, kind of all over the world.
Yeah.
They're used in heralds for houses along with the lion, and they're seen as a sign of strength and often as a sign of good luck. They were also seen as a form of a guardian, much like your foo dogs.
My food dogs.
Foo dogs.
Yeah.
I love the little foo dogs. That was initially what I thought the little Derpy tiger looked like, because he kind of had that same kind of look in his eyes and the face
he
of
kind
it.
of had like the big head
And the big
and the
teeth,
kind of sloped
fangs.
body.
Yeah. So tigers are very like commonplace, but in the
I wish tigers were commonplace. I want a pet tiger.
I want a tiger so bad. Tigers and magpies in Korea specifically. Korea was once known as the land of tigers, but now they are completely extinct in South Korea,
Oh,
which is
very sad.
I know, it's very sad. Before they were extinct, and this is specifically South Korea, they could be found in mountains all over the Korean peninsula, and they often came down to the villages and would, of course, attack people and livestock. So they were feared, but they were also respected. They were often given the name Prince of the Mountain instead of King of the Jungle.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
So they do have a lot of historical and symbolic meaning both in China and Korea. And one of the beliefs is that in China is that the tiger operates as one of the 4 directional guardians during the spring and autumn period. And then that was from 770 to 481 BC. And from 475 to 221 BC, during the Warring States period, they were kind of seen as these guardians of the 4 directions.
Oh, that's cool.
And like I could seriously, you can spend entire college courses on Chinese culture alone
Yeah.
and still not even touch
There
all
are
of it. So
like doctorates
and master's degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like kind of breezing over a lot of stuff. I will link the different sources I used, and there's tons of more like deep dives on each
Sweet.
thing. But of course, I don't have time. I don't have a master's degree either. Magpies in Korea are known as joy-bringing magpies. They are thought to bring good news or the arrival of a guest. So like if you see a magpie, you're like, oh, I'm going to have good news soon, or a visitor is going to come. If the magpie kind of lands on your house, you're like, oh, I'm going to have visitors soon.
That's funny.
Which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Magpies are corvids.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, bringing it back to KPop Demon Hunters, the bird shows up first and then the tiger comes.
Mhm.
It's funny, though, that they're considered like joy.
mm-hmm.
Because the magpie in Demon Hunters is always grouchy. And it's
Yeah.
very cute.
It's a little grouchy.
Anyway,
He is a little grouchy.
he is kind of like a demon bird, so I don't know.
Well, I have thoughts
got
on that,
3
but we're not going
eyes.
to. I know, but I think I have thoughts. We could talk about that in
Okay.
another thing
Okay.
in our bonus content, because like I haven't dove into the reason they use that specific symbology in the show,
Okay,
but I have thoughts on it after learning kind of more
sweet.
what that symbology meant in the art form.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so magpies were thought to bring joy, good news, or the arrival of a guest. And in China, magpies were a sign of marital bliss. So, and there's this whole thing of magpie mirrors during the Han Dynasty, and like so, when you were married, the husband would have a mirror, or they would have a broken mirror.
Oh,
So you would each have half of a mirror. And the story behind that, or the mythos behind that, was that if the wife gives in to temptation,
Well.
her half of the mirror would change into a magpie and fly back to her husband, and then he would know.
Oh,
And I do wonder if the man's did that too, but it doesn't say that in the story. So,
huh. Okay.
Anyway, moving on. And I am going to be saying Korean names to the best of my ability.
Okay.
I do not speak Korean, and I listen to a lot of different pronunciations of some of these names and words, and every pronunciation was different.
Uh-huh.
So I went with the ones that I could do my best on.
Okay.
So Minhwa art, I've also heard it pronounced Minhwa, but there were more pronunciations of Minhwa.
Okay.
It refers to a Korean folk art that was produced mostly by unknown artists without formal training.
One unknown artist?
No,
Or...
no, multiple. Just
Artists.
basically like artists.
Okay.
Sorry.
And that unknown artist was just like, it was, anonymous.
Anonymous, yeah. Well, they were anonymous,
so
but some
multiple
often
artists.
anonymous.
Yeah.
But so there was a time where like the royal houses would have their itinerant artists. They lived there, they did their work, they were well known, they were
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
Well, this Minhwa art was more, it kind of means painting of the people or popular painting.
Okay.
So these were artists who didn't have formal training as artists, but had their own natural abilities.
Yeah.
And they would kind of replicate this royal formal style of painting. But they would do it like, much like the bread delivery people. They would do a selection of paintings and go out and provide them in vendor
Okay.
carts, or just if someone said, oh, you do nice work, I would like a painting, and they would kind of set up and do little paintings and
Cool.
and sell them
Yeah.
and make their living that way. Some of this art was also believed to possess Some of this art was also believed to possess beneficial virtues to protect the owner and their family from evil forces. The popular themes were cranes, rocks, water, clouds, sun, moon, pine trees, tortoises, insects, and flowers. So it's just kind of this. And I know you have seen the different varieties of these art styles.
Yeah.
There are specific genres of Minhwa art. And I'll get into that in a few bullet points. The term Minhwa, and I didn't write this date down, I think it was in the 1900s, is when the term Minhwa was coined by Yanagi Suetsu. Again, I'm sorry for not pronouncing these words or names correctly. I'm going to do my best. But it's a traditional art form that was intimately connected to the lives of the Korean people. So it really kind of embodies the Korean sentiment. When Minhwa first came into popularity, the Korean, the royal courts were like, peasant art. It's not done by it's not done by our artist.
Yeah.
But it still became very popular because of the stylistic of it, even though it was often referred to as crude or
Yeah.
not, or simplistic. But it did really become part of the upper classes, as well as the common folk
Yeah.
would have the same similar art style.
Cool.
The 17th century was when Minhwa art kind of developed into its present form, where the common people would go from place to place, often following festivals, and they would sell their work there. Or if the locals would see them and maybe commission a painting, and they would say, I would like a painting of a crane or the tiger and magpie. And they would just kind of pull out their kanji paper and their pigments and craft the painting there on the spot for them.
Cool.
I found I said kanji, it was hanji paper, Hanji. And this is a traditional handmade paper from Korea. It's made from the inner bark of the paper mulberry tree, the roots of the hibiscus manihot, but actually it's like a mucilage that oozes from those roots.
Oh.
Yeah, so they would kind of press the roots and get this kind of viscous substance from the root. And then this would be mixed with the
pulp.
fibers of the mulberry bark. And this actually became a huge industry for a very long time in Korea.
The paper?
Just making this hanji paper.
Okay.
It is
That's
still
cool.
an industry, although it has been kind of modernized. But there are, I think I read there are only like 10 companies in Korea that still make it the kind of the original style. Not like the original, but
Yeah.
a little more modernized, but still the same quality and consistency. And the interesting thing about this hanji paper, there are perfectly preserved samples from 800
Holy crap.
BCE.
So they don't like fade? Or?
It does. It has a very, let me find that note about this. So paper is acidic. Let me go. Ordinary paper has a pH level of 4 to 5.5, meaning that it is acidic. And you see that like in papers for scrapbooks and stuff. And they have like lower pH numbers so your photos don't turn and yellow and age.
Okay.
That's, I know, we don't even use scrapbooks anymore, do we? Like it's all on our phone. But if paper has a very low pH level, it can completely decompose in 100 years. Hanji has a pH level of 7, and therefore these hanji works can be displayed in museums without like specifically, temperature or,
like
moisture. Controlled
moisture,
areas. Yeah, they can just be displayed behind glass, just like a painting.
Wow.
So that's like...
Is that because of the hibiscus
Because of
root?
the hibiscus root. It has it has a higher pH level. And so it lasts longer and it doesn't break down.
Yeah.
Which I think is just fascinating.
Yeah.
Because like so much stuff from Korea, like they have a lot of rules, books, texts that are still available on this ancient hanji paper.
Yeah.
So that was just my little side, ADHD. Ooh, going down there.
ADHD off of the ADHD magic surge.
Yes. My second wild magic surge. So I'll put I just got most of that from a wiki link and from a art page website.
Cool.
But I'll link those if anybody else wants to deep dive into that aspect of things.
Yeah.
Because you can order hanji paper for your art if you want to do that today.
Let's get some.
Oh, we might be. So the Minhwa style is still around, but it's mostly seen in museums, street art in older neighborhoods, and crafts. That was the other thing. Like hanji paper is used for a lot of like structural, like the windows and doors, like you've seen kind of older style houses. That is hanji paper. They would put hanji paper on their doors in summer and in winter it actually acts as an insulator. Oh. Which I think is just fascinating.
Yeah.
And one of these emperors actually used his soldiers had paper armor.
What?
Because they would just layer and layer and layer it, and it would actually deflect arrows and sword blows.
Wow.
And it was an insulator, so it would keep them hot or, cool in hot temperatures and warm in cold temperatures.
Yeah.
And the thought of having paper armor, I'm like, okay, guys, here's your armor. It's just
Yep.
paper. And they're like, what? But I read that little snippet. I was like, what? And so that's what kind of led me into the deep dive of the different styles of paper and how versatile it was.
That's cool.
They actually would make lamps with the paper as well. And it wouldn't burn very easily.
Huh.
And even if it rained, the water would shed off. So you still have these paper lanterns that would stay
Sweet.
lit in the
Yeah.
rain. Yeah, it's very fascinating. Fascinating, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go. There are several genres of this Minhwa art, and I'm going to give you the names of them, and then I'm going to walk away because I'm not going to be able to pronounce all the words.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about the specific genre that includes the tigers and the magpies.
Sweet.
So shakyori was a very popular style, and it is the flowers and birds like the peacock and that sort of style. And it tends to represent love and domestic unity, harmony, and balance. Yanghodo is powerful animals like the tiger and the dragon, or the sun and the moon, which were kind of protection from bad luck or symbolize royalty. And then Kachi Harangi was also part of the magpie and tiger, in which, and this is kind of what ties into the Derpy tiger.
Uh-huh.
The tiger is often given a ridiculous appearance. Like they might have like oversized teeth and kind of a goofy smile, and one eye might be looking in one direction, the other one's looking the other. They
So
look a
derpy,
little
yeah.
derpy. And this was often nicknamed Idiot Tiger. And it represented authority and the aristocracy. And
Okay.
the magpie,
Yeah, I got that part right.
yeah, the magpie was often given very a dignified look and very kind of, a presence.
Yeah.
And that represented the common people. And so it was kind of a little bit of a satire on the feudal society of the Joseon period. Chosun?
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and that is kind of like I keep looking at these words. I'm going, oh man. So that's the Kachi Harangi and also the Hojakdo, the paintings of tigers, magpie, and pine trees. So that's kind of what the little focus, what pulled me in because of Derpy and Sussie, the magpie and the tiger. But that, like, the story is like these animals, like the royal courts were using the tiger like, oh, strength and guardian. And
Right.
and then the common people were like, oh, you're kind of a Derpy, we're like, and the symbology in the show of the magpie always stealing the tiger's hat
Yeah.
is kind of the people pulling their power away from, like, taking their power and their autonomy away from the strict feudal structure of the government at the time.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of just become this iconic symbology.
Yeah.
And I don't have like a whole lot more on that. There is like I can go into like the different genres, but I wanted to kind of just focus on that part. But so I am going to say what I want to do, our little project.
Okay.
I found this, let me get to I found a website in New Jersey. I'm just going to go to the email. Sorry. It's in Chelsea, New York. And they do online workshops where they mail you all the stuff to create an image or to learn how to paint in this style.
Oh.
So I'm going to put this out to our patrons too. We need a minimum of 5 people up to 10 people for this class. And they are going to mail you the supplies and you can sign up and they mail out everything. And then you show up for the online session and they walk you through the process of creating there are several different like images that you can use that cover the different genres. Like you can do the like kind of stylized flower or the tiger and the magpie and the pine tree, which is the one I want to do. And then there's a couple other ones. They send you like it's already printed and they walk you through the process of painting it in that style.
That's cool.
So I want to do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to put that out to our patrons.
Yay. If you want to join us, be a patron.
Be a patron.
If we get a lot of interest, we'll probably do more
we'll
than
do
one.
more than one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's a cool thing.
I know they have in-person classes, but obviously we can't go to New York on a whim
Yeah.
just for an art class.
Yeah.
But I think it's like $45,
Sweet.
which I'm like, they're sending me
Yeah,
all
if
the
they
stuff.
send you the stuff.
I think all you need to do is have a set of watercolors and like a cup of water.
Yeah.
So, but they mail everything else. But yeah, it was just like I wanted to know a little bit more about the symbology of the tiger and the magpie. And so I kind of dove into this and like I said, I know I'm just like barely scratching the surface because this is so intrinsically tied to the culture, and I can't get into a deep dive on Korean culture.
Yeah.
Because that's I would love to, because what little bit I've learned since we started listening to K-pop is just absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
And I would like to learn more. And it's probably something I'll do on the side. Just deep dive on
Honestly,
my own.
I feel the same way about every single culture that isn't the one I grew up with. So
Same.
Yeah.
Exactly
there's
same.
like so much to learn about all the cultures and all the people and everything that we have in this world. So
Never stop learning.
yeah.
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 It's so fascinating. Just like the people I've met over the past few years, and just coming from different areas of this country.
Yeah.
And just learning like, wow, okay, that would not be normal where I grew up,
Yeah.
but it's completely normal, in that area or whatever. And and then just the influence they have from their, where their family might have came from in the past and stuff. And it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to just have all the time to just deep dive into every culture and kind of learn about it more.
Same.
But that's just a little
Over
surface scratch.
The course of the years of this podcast, we'll get to do that.
We'll get to we'll get to scratch the surface of a lot of stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So, which is why I kind of love that we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was really cool. I love that that was what you chose to hyper focus on.
My brain has been kind of
24 hours.
hyper focused on it, but so I was like, well, let me put this good use.
Yeah.
Come in with something here. So
it's actually been less than 24 hours since we decided to do the wild
it was
magic
like
surge.
last night when we were both staring at our notes going, nothing is working.
It was seriously at like 9 or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have recorded that day. It would have been awesome if we had recorded the day before that. I just noticed that your sword is gone.
It's on my bed.
Okay. And then I had this whole we moved that. Okay, I'm gonna edit all that out. Yeah, we just the weekend was passing by and we had not recorded, we had not finished our research, and 9 or 10 p.m. last night, we were like, you know what? This isn't working. We cannot force hyper focus. So let's pick something our brains want to hyper focus on.
Mm-hmm. And we did, and it worked out. I loved your baking. I liked kind of diving, and like I said, I could really talk for several more hours.
Yeah.
But it just gets real.
I didn't even get into baking. I mean, with the exception of starting in ancient Egypt and moving through Greek and Roman culture, once I started talking about medieval England, that was pretty much only Western baking. I didn't even get into all the history of the baking in all the different regions and areas of the world.
Yeah.
So that would be...
Yeah, because does wheat grow everywhere? Surely they had to use something other than wheat in some locations.
Well, we know that in Asia they use rice flour for things. So yeah.
Sometimes I say stuff and I go, duh. Oh, right.
But I didn't even touch on any Eastern culture baking history, and I would love to.
Yeah.
And in South America, I would there's so much that I would like to learn about.
We can, we can make baking a recurring card.
Yeah. I mean,
That'd be
I
fun.
feel like we say that about one of our topics every single episode.
I mean, I
It's
could
gonna be
make
recurring
art a
card.
recurring card.
Yeah.
You could literally make every country in the world a recurring card because
For
you
sure.
could not cover it all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
But we do still like our topics, especially the topics submitted by other people. So if you would like to submit a topic to us, if it's something that you find fascinating and want us to sort of look into and probably do some very poor, very last minute research on and cover it in one of our future episodes, then email us at jessandhids@gmail.com. If you want to join our Patreon, we have a lot of fun things going on, including our and another thing after chat that we do for every podcast episode, starting with like episode 20 something. We haven't been doing it the whole time, but we have quite a few now. Let's see, the art class, the live
art
class
class?
is, we're going to open that up to patrons. So yeah, if you want in on that, become a patron. You can find us at patreon.com/jessandhids. And you can also go to our website, jessandhids.com, and just sort of stay up to date on all the things, even though the website is not up to date. You can sign up for the newsletter, which we do put out occasionally on schedule every month.
It comes out during the month at some point.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. So anyway, we're going to, even though we didn't cover the cards we drew last week, we're still going to draw cards this week. And I guess I'm going first since I went first.
Yes. Just have to move the cards out from under the cat who's laying on
Yeah.
most of them.
It took all of 2 seconds for him to decide to lay on them.
Yep.
Whoa, what does that even say?
Uh-oh. That one shouldn't be in there.
I was like,
How'd you
that's a
get in
blank
there?
card. That says James
You got-
Addison Peralta Rivas.
The rare blank card. Good on you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
So this is weird. I don't know if I should be reacting to the card I drew last week or reacting
Or the
to
card.
this card. So now we're going to be two.
Oh, we're going to be two
Episodes
ahead. It's
ahead.
fine.
Anyway, it's
Well,
cool.
well, it's going to give our brain a little, like we could go, we
Yeah.
can't focus on this, but I want to focus on that. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the topic I drew last week. And I still have all those tabs open.
Yeah. I found
So-
links, but I just, yep.
Yeah, I'll get back to it because it is a thing that we're both interested in and that we both
Cool.
will enjoy talking about. But I'm going to get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
ADHD is real, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
For reals, you cannot force hyperfocus, especially at the last minute. I mean, sometimes
sometimes
the
you
ADHD
can.
helps with
Cramming.
just cramming everything in at the last minute. But when it doesn't work, and you just, yep.
You just let what works work and you move on and shift gears.
That's when you need a wild magic surge.
Yep. And it works out perfectly. So yeah, I think we're going to go do our and another thing bonus content.
Yeah.
Cool.
War members.
Oh, war members. Oh man. I forgot about those. You go first.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh no. No, I
Okay,
know
go
my
ahead.
war member.
Go
Okay. I know that we're getting something from someone in the mail related to the podcast. And that's all I'm going to say. That's my war member.
So
'cause
excited for it.
I'm going to be obsessed with checking the mail once we know it's on the way.
Yep. We have a fan who's creating something for us. And more on that later.
More on that later when we
get.
get it and we actually get to find out everything about it.
Yeah, we've already decided that we're not going to open it until we record.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hear all about it
You're
in a
gonna hear
future
about it.
episode, hopefully next week. I don't know. I don't want to rush it.
I don't want to rush it. No, we know that it's in the process and that it will be here.
Yeah.
And I think that's my war member.
Yeah. Okay.
We can share it if you'd like.
I do love that as a war member.
I also love that we have an office.
Yeah, I was.
Were you going there too? I'm sorry.
Well, the war member last week was that we were waiting for the stuff to be delivered. So I wasn't going to say that. I didn't really have something that I was going to say. I keep looking at this bagel next to my computer with the cream cheese on it and some apricot preserves right next to it. And I'm like, that's a pretty good war member. So
that is a good war member.
Yeah, that's the little smaller side war member compared to the bigger gift that is coming in the mail war member.
Yeah.
I do get excited about food.
Food is an exciting thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, I want baked goods now.
I know.
Because you talked about it.
I know.
And I also want to like get art supplies out and art.
Yeah. Same. I'm not even good at arting. So like, yeah.
Don't let me go on my rant about good. What qualifies as good art?
If you are never satisfied with anything that I make.
I am never satisfied with anything I make either. So. I think like most artists are like that on some level. But I think like if you are creating and just taking your imagination and bringing it to life, that counts as good art.
Yeah.
People don't have to understand it.
I mean, we write okay. We write pretty good.
I think we write well. I'm going to go edit a bunch of stuff that we've written, but that's okay. So yes, create art. Art is beautiful on every level. And if it is something that
if it's something that makes you happy, do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Enjoy it. Wonderful. Be wonderful.
Yeah.
Put beauty out into the world.
Yep. And share your war members with us, please.
Yes, please. We love them.
Yep. All right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that is it. Again, follow us on Patreon, please.
Talk at you next week.
Talk at you next week.
Bye.
Bye.